So we have breaking news. Donald Trump is sending the Marines to Los Angeles. I've checked multiple sources. It appears to be real. I wanted to make sure before making a video, but this is what's being said. Wall Street Journal, Marines are deploying to Los Angeles area. We also have NBC is saying Marines mobilized to support National Guard in Los Angeles, says defense officials. And you know, the Trump people have been floating this idea of sending the Marines just the last 24 hours, and now it looks like they're doing it. This is Fox News. U.S. Marines to deploy to Los Angeles to quell anti-ICE riots. So that's why they've been ramping up their language, calling everyone criminal, rioters, mob, etc. And now we're sending the Marines. Again, this is the United States Marines on American soil. This is from Reuters. Pentagon to deploy 700 Marines to Los Angeles. I've heard different numbers on how many are going to go. The first numbers I was seeing was 500. This one is now 700. I don't know. I don't know if it could escalate. I'll just say this: I'm angry. I'm upset, and I want to just go through details with you guys, and I'll share some thoughts. Let's get the details out of the way first, though. The United States military is set to deploy about 700 Marines to Los Angeles while additional National Guard troops arrive in the city. This is a U.S. official told Reuters on Monday. About 300 California National Guard troops were deployed to the streets of Los Angeles on Sunday to quell a third day of protests over Donald Trump's immigration enforcement. Remember, that's Trump sending all his masked people to come arrest as many people as possible. A step Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom called unlawful. The official, speaking on a condition of anonymity, said a battalion would be sent. I think we're talking about Marines here. But for now, the Insurrection Act is not expected to be invoked. The number of National Guard troops is expected to rise to 2,000 by Wednesday, and until then, the Marines are expected to provide support. It is unclear what exactly they will be doing. This is the language that when you read this stuff, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Trump's planning here. I'll just say this. I live in Korea. We just witnessed, just a few months ago, President Yoon here tried to declare a martial law. As I told you guys before, regular people rose up and said no, and Korean lawmakers also rose up and said no. And this is what we need Americans to do right now. I'm being plainly serious with this stuff. You got to rise up and say no. We also need officers, leaders in the military, officers in the Marine Corps. You rise up and you say no. Do not follow illegal orders. Do not follow unlawful orders. I'm being gravely serious about this stuff. This could escalate very, very quickly. When you're again, this is on American soil that the Trump people are doing this. They're sending the Marines. While the U.S. military cannot perform law enforcement activities inside the United States without invoking the Insurrection Act, the Pentagon often is called to respond to national crisis, from border mission to disaster relief to health emergencies. For example, during the pandemic, the U.S. military set up temporary hospitals. So the reason why the news is reporting it this way, and this is Reuters, they're just saying like, okay, if we're not sure what they're doing, what could they be doing? Are they, going to set up hospitals, this kind of stuff? What are the Marines doing there? Which units are you sending, etc. And it all depends. And we're in a situation. Remember, Trump is a felon. He has very little regard for the law. He actively attacks judges, the law. He'll attack his political opponents. He's been threatening to arrest the governor of California. And again, we're sending the Marines. This is a dangerous, dangerous time in USA. If you don't know, California, just breaking also, is suing Trump over National Guard deployment to Los Angeles. I want to read through the details of this one also because they're both related. Basically, Trump is getting pushback from California. And, again, he's sending the Marines. Now, could the Marines be used to go and arrest Gavin Newsom? You never know in this situation what Trump is planning. Here's what it says. This is talking about the lawsuit on Trump here. California sued the Trump administration Monday over its order to deploy 2,000 California National Guard troops to Los Angeles without the governor's consent. And that's key right there, right? So the governor's saying, get out, right? We didn't ask for this, get out. A move with little precedent that has dramatically increased tensions between the federal government and the Democrat-led state. the most populous in the United States. And that's why there's worries of civil war. I mean, I'm serious here, because again, Trump is basically sending people in with guns, giving them whatever orders. It's even unclear. That's why it's important to say that, hey, okay, we know the Marines are coming. What are they doing? That's like, why are you doing this, right? And Trump's been shady on all kinds of stuff that they're up to. That they try to push the envelope as far as they can, but in these situations, when you're doing these illegal orders, in my opinion, Trump should be removed from office immediately. This is what happened in Korea. I'm telling you guys, the people rose up and said no, and the lawmakers said no. This is why it's so important to report the stuff and be accurate and be truthful about these things. And I just want you to ask yourself this fundamental question. Do you want the American United States Marines deployed on U.S. soil? Is that what you want? The lawsuit argues that President Donald Trump overstepped his authority when he called up the National Guard in defiance of California Governor Gavin Newsom invoking a law that allows the president to do so under the threat from a foreign invasion or rebellion against the U.S. government. So that's why the Trump people always use these, language of we're being taken over and they're attacking us, these kind of things. And Trump likes to call this stuff a liberation. He tried to call the tariffs, right, a liberation. It's like, okay, so raising taxes on everyone is a liberation. Is that we're saying? And now sending the Marines to, effectively go into California again on U.S. soil. So they're using the word liberation, but I mean, as you know, Trump is a liar. Let's just be honest about it. And this is coming from California Attorney General saying, "Let me be clear: there is no invasion, there is no rebellion. Quote, the president is trying to manufacture chaos and crisis on the ground for his own political ends," right? And that's why California is suing. I mean, you're going through legal means because you don't want this to escalate. The problem is Trump was trying to escalate this stuff. I mean, they were just talking about sending the Marines and we all thought that was crazy, right? It's crazy talk. And now they're doing it. This is like, it's so insane. That's why I wanted to make sure and check multiple sources before, mention it to you guys, but it looks like it's happening. The lawsuit, and again, and then California's trying to push back through legal means, which is, it's just democracy, right? You want to do this peacefully. The lawsuit contends that Trump's move illegally infringed upon Newsom's role as commander-in-chief of the California National Guard. The White House did not immediately respond to requests for comment on the lawsuit, but during a White House event shortly after the announcement of the lawsuit, Trump hailed his order to deploy troops. This is what the White House is tweeting out right now: law and order, American flag, right? They're trying to do this nationalism stuff. And Trump's been talking recently about, arresting Gavin Newsom, about deploying troops everywhere. This is from Trump's words. And this is the latest headline here: Donald Trump on arresting Gavin Newsom, quote, "I do it." So I don't know. I don't know where this is going to lead to. Like I said, in my opinion, I read this stuff. It's plain as day to me. You got to remove Trump from office. He is unwell, he's unhinged, and he's dangerous, to be perfectly frank. I want to hear your thoughts on this one, and I'll try to keep you updated as we get more news. But again, the headlines is Trump sending the Marines to Los Angeles. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you in the next video.